This week we are kind of making the landscaping area around our porch look a little more finished. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this is to do. Alright, I'm at kind of an odd angle to try and work on this, so I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm doing, and then I'm going to turn the camera off, go finish the step, and then bring you back. But we've done this many times. If you've watched me add soil to any projects in Dollhouse Miniatures, I almost always use the contents of this jar. These are dried, used coffee grounds. And I will try to remember to put a link to my video that talks about how to do that and how they work and everything. But I'm just going to show you. I'm adding white glue, any white glue. You could even use Elmer's. You can use any white glue. Mod Podge would probably even work, which I may resort to before I get done because I may run out of white glue. Use your finger, use a cheap paintbrush, use whatever to spread that glue out. You don't want very much. You want kind of a thin base of glue. The reason we painted the brown under this is in case there's gaps. Our lawn is going to come up over the edge of this, so I'm going out further than I'm sure I want my flower bed to be. Coffee grounds. I'm going to use a spoon. I'm going to spread them over that glue, and I'm going to let the glue dry and then shake these off into a container so that I can put them back into my jar. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to go all the way around the front of the porch. And yeah, that's probably about it. I don't think I'm going to go around the back. I haven't decided yet. I'll decide that when I get there. So when I have this all done and it's ready to show you, I'll be back. Alright, I have my flower beds all done, and I think they look pretty good. There will be a picture on the blog post, a close-up of this at this stage. So let's work on the lawn. Now, if you've followed my videos for a while, you've seen me do lawns a couple of different ways. I'm doing something different this week. Let me kind of move this out of the way. Hopefully I won't reveal all of my mess. Whoops, knocked something down behind me. I decided to try this. This is a sheet of moss, and I actually got it at Joint Fabrics. I was wandering through the floral section and I found this. It was under $5. I think it was $4.99 maybe. I don't remember. It's the smallest package. It says it's 11 inches. 11 inches cute? I don't know. But let's go ahead and measure it just to see what it's. Okay, it looks like it's probably about the size of a sheet of paper. It's probably about 8.5 by 11 or so. But I thought this would be kind of fun because it kind of looks like an overgrown lawn, like maybe a lawn that's maybe needs a little mowing, needs a little love, and I thought that would be kind of a fun change of pace. Alright, so it probably looks like I've gotten you lost here on the instructions because hopefully last time the video showed, I didn't have any moss started and I was going to show you how to do it. Well, I actually filmed that. I put moss right here, as you can see where I tore it off. Turned the camera off to finish up and changed my mind about how to put it on when I got over here. I liked it so much better. I tore this off and I decided to start over with teaching you how to do it. So we're using the moss sheet that I showed you earlier. To glue it down, I don't remember where I showed you what glue I was using, so this may be a repeat, but we're using Elmer's school glue. At least I am. Any thin white glue will work. I like school glue because I'm going to spread it out with a paintbrush, and it washes out really easily from my paintbrush. Now I'm going to attempt to do this front portion from back here so you guys can see. And I'm putting quite a bit of glue. I want a lot of glue on there because I want to spread it around. And spread it all the way to the edge. And I'm going to run my moss up over the edge of our faux dirt just a little bit. And it's okay, I still have some moss stuck there because it's going to get covered up. The thing I do love about this moss is it looks like a lawn that maybe isn't perfect. More like my lawn. My lawn is definitely not perfect. It's got dead spots. It's got spots that are overgrown. It's, you know, it's a lawn. All right. Now, we're going to take this and we're going to make as few seams as we can. Just tearing it off. And I want it to kind of hang over the edge of the board. Oops, that's really thick right there. What did I do? Okay. This part is really thick right there. If it's got a really thick part of the backing, I may have to take this off and redo it off camera. This has got really thick. There, we want it thinner. And we're going to pull off any dead looking spots later. There, this is better. This is nice and thin. As long as your glue is wet when you're putting your moss in, you should be able to kind of meld this together and get a nice looking lawn. I like that spot right there for right here. So I am going to turn the camera off. I'm going to turn this around and get some of the bulk off the back of that. I need to fill in this spot here. And then the glue just needs to dry, and then I'll be back and show you how to trim the edges. Alright, now the glue has dried on our lawn overnight. It is stuck down pretty well. Now we're going to give it a little bit of a haircut, and we're going to kind of neaten up the edges. And we're going to do more neatening later. So on this front edge, I'm just literally giving it a haircut. Just taking my scissors along and cutting it. We're going to cover this front edge, the edge is all the way around, with a piece of wood, so it's okay. Now if you've got a place that's loose, like I've got a spot here that's really loose. I'm going to put more glue in, and I'm going to glue it down. We're not worried about this edge yet. We're going to deal with that later. This is pretty well glued down. I'm going to put a little more glue at the edge, kind of glue it down. I'm going to turn it, and I'm just going to continue all the way around, trimming, picking up there's another loose spot, so I'm going to glue this down. I want the green part on top to be glued down. And save these little bits, because you can use those to fill in if you've got like a spot that needs a little filling. You could, like this spot here is really brown. I'm going to pick off some of the brown stuff. I'm going to do this. and then take some of this and just glue it in. Kind of fill in so it doesn't look like quite so much of a dead spot. So after this, all this glue that I've touched up here dries, I'll come back and we'll trim the inside of the flower bed edge. Alright, so the edges are all trimmed, and I filled in a patch back there that was kind of loose. I love how this is kind of bumpy. It looks like a real lawn. Now, I'm going to go through around the edge of the planter. I'm going to put some glue down and kind of press the edges of this up. Before I glue it down though, I'm looking at it and like, yeah, I like how that's laying. I like how long that is. I do have a wet wipe here. So I'm going to continue just like this and making sure the edge towards the planter is glued down because there's some loose spots there. And that piece, I don't like that piece. I'm going to pull it out. I don't like that piece too well, so I'm going to pull that back. And there we go. So now this glue needs to dry, and I think this is about all we're going to get done this week. So I'm going to let the glue dry, and I'll show you how it looks when it dries, and then I'll give you my thoughts on how it was to work with this. Alright, I think my glue is all dry. I love this. I am continuing to kind of give it a slight haircut as I notice loose pieces, but I love the natural look of this. I think it looks really good. If this look isn't for you, I've done other ways of doing grass on your miniature landscaping in other videos. I will try my best to remember to link those in the blog post. But this moss was a lot of fun to work with. I think the biggest downside to it is how messy it is. I did have to bring my vacuum cleaner in here twice and vacuum my table because I had moss everywhere from trimming and tearing it apart. 20/20 hindsight, if it hadn't been so hot outside, I think I would have done, I think doing this outside would have been great. Then the mess would have been not an issue. But the vacuum cleaner took care of it, so it's fine. I just love it. I think it turned out great. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure and come back next week when we move on to another part of our project. I'll talk to you then. Bye.